So once again, here's just another picture of the liquid tank, and these are our storage vestibules that store actually enough gaseous form of hydrogen that if the storage tank or the converter would stop working, we'd still be able to keep running our fleet up and through, you know, for at least a day or two until actually it got started. Or if not, we could actually have land delivery of the gaseous form of hydrogen if all else failed. But going forward, I guess really the message that I'd like to leave with you from, you know, Cisco using this fuel cell technology is that, you know, we were very thankful, obviously, for the grant that helped this project move along. But, you know, as we have our new foldouts, as in here in Schertz, Texas, and we get an opportunity to cut back from buying 200 non-recyclable fuel cells, or batteries, and actually make our distribution center more towards the delivery and distribution of groceries, which we're actually in business to do, just helps our maintenance area and our warehouse really perform in a more efficient manner. So thank you, and that's the Cisco story.
Good morning. My name is Gary Lunds. I'm a general manager of government fleet sales for Crown Equipment Corporation in New Bremen, Ohio. That title may not indicate a lot to what my involvement is with fuel cells, but I do a few other things for Crown, and this is one of them. We're a little different than some of the other panelists here in that we're not necessarily an end user of fuel cells. We're more of an enabler. And I want to share with you a little bit about what we're doing at Crown to hopefully bring this technology forward, and just share a little bit about what we've done in the past. Crown is a world leader in lift truck manufacturing, and we have facilities all over the world, both in manufacturing and distribution and support of material handling equipment. And this is part of our sustainability goals, which we have made pretty clear to our customer base that we're serious about. And so we actually started investigating fuel cell technology because we understood that our customer base was going to find this technology exciting, and we wanted to be able to tell them what we knew about it. So if we didn't learn something about it, we weren't going to be able to do that. So we started back in about 2002 with researching hydrogen fuel cells with lift trucks. And in 2008, we actually opened a 25,000 square foot facility dedicated to just research and development of hydrogen fuel cells, how they work with our equipment, and to make sure that they're safe, that the features of the equipment as it's designed are not compromised by using fuel cell. There are very slight differences in voltage output with a fuel cell that can make sometimes a pretty big difference with lift trucks. So we started this qualification program, and that actually evolved, and through some grants from the state of Ohio, we've made some commitments to try to incorporate some of the features of fuel cells into the design of the lift truck. So I'm going to try to explain a little bit. I've been with Crown for 26 years, and most of that was in the sales end of the business. So I taught a lot of guys how to sell lift trucks, and I worked with a lot of customers, so I know a lot about applications. I'm not sure that everybody here knows a lot about applications and how lift trucks are used and exactly how forklifts interact with a fuel cell. So I'll hopefully tell you a little bit about that. These are a couple of different fuel cell manufacturers that we worked with, we continually work with. You've heard Plug Power, seen that on a couple of different slides. Some of the others are Hydrogenics, Nuvera, a new one called Infinitium, and then there's even Urja Products that makes a direct methanol fuel cell. So we've looked at all of the different fuel cell alternatives, and in the top center of the slide, we're the only lift truck manufacturer that we know of that actually has a qualification program. We believe that our customers want to feel good about using a fuel cell in their product and know that we as a manufacturer have tested it in that particular model of lift truck that they're using. So we, through this qualification program, put the fuel cells through a very lengthy, a very detailed series of tests to make sure that it operates safely in the truck. As Scott mentioned earlier, there's weight in the truck, in the fuel cell, that helps with the counterbalance of the load of the truck. So we have to make sure that it weighs enough. There's even things about center of gravity of this fuel cell, and we call it a fuel cell power pack because it's a combination of fuel cell, and it's put into the box that is designed in the lift truck for a lead acid battery. So we're taking sometimes 10 pounds of potatoes and trying to put it in a 5-pound sack, and that's a little difficult to do. So we have to make sure that all the characteristics are there with the fuel cell, and when that fuel cell has met all those qualifications, we issue a label that's indicated there in the top center of the screen. Again, just to educate you a little bit about how lift trucks are used, you've heard, I think, a couple of different people talk about classes of lift trucks, Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. That may not mean a lot to you. It does to me. In what would be your left-hand side of the screen is what we call a Class 2 forklift. It's a stand-up truck. This one's designed for narrow aisles. In the upper right-hand corner is what we call a Class 3 truck, or a pallet jack. This one is a powered pallet truck. This one is a double. Scott talked about a triple. That would be where there would be 3 pallets long, so this gets to be a pretty long vehicle, and that's used primarily for transporting loads around warehouses. And then the bottom right is the truck actually that Beth uses there at DDWG. That's our sit-down counterbalance forklift. That's what many people think of as a forklift. What you have to also, another factor you have to keep in mind is that as a designer of lift trucks, many of our customers over the years have demanded that we build models of trucks that work for their applications. So we've done that, and we've created a broad line of trucks that have a variety of sizes of battery compartments. So to just come up with a fuel cell power pack, it isn't quite so simple to put it into a company's fleet of lift trucks, because they may not have the right size of battery compartment that the fuel cell manufacturers have developed a fuel cell power pack for. In most cases, they've focused on the largest of our battery compartment sizes because they have a lot of components to fit in there. So it's limited in some cases. We not only have looked at making fuel cell power packs available for new lift trucks, but we've also looked at, because our customer demands, to retrofit existing fleets. And we've been able to do that, and in some cases it's a relatively easy process. In others, it's very difficult or impossible with current fuel cell models available. Some of the older controller technologies in these lift trucks really don't allow for the newer technology fuel cells to really work well with them. So there's a variety of things that we sometimes do, sometimes changing the controllers with newer ones, or again, in some cases, until there's a fuel cell model developed, we just can't do it. I'm going to show you a couple of, this is a model of truck. I talked about customer demands. One of our largest customers, in fact it is our largest customer, is Walmart. And we talked about, I think you heard Pete talk earlier about them opening a facility, and that facility is up in Canada. Very neat thing about that is they designed this greenfield, brand new facility from the ground up with no intention of using battery-powered trucks, but instead using fuel cell-powered trucks. They did not put any kind of safety net in place. So these guys took a pretty big step forward, meaning they haven't put any kind of battery handling equipment in place. They didn't add onto the building. They didn't put the infrastructure in the electrical requirements to run battery chargers. They didn't do any of that. But they came to us because they had certain requirements of their lift truck fleet. One of those was this model PC 4500. That's a Class 3 pallet truck as well. This is where an operator stands in the middle of the load, and they use it a lot for low-level transporting and for low-level order picking, where they would go down aisles and pick a case of a variety of different products to build a full pallet. The standard truck for us is the model pictured in the upper left-hand corner of the slide, and that, if you'll notice, there's an industrial lead-acid battery underneath the steering mechanism, and the load then is behind that. With the current models of fuel cell products that are available, and Plug Power is currently the only one that builds one, it was too tall. The profile of that fuel cell was too tall to fit into our truck. So our engineers went to the drawing board and redesigned that truck from the ground up for Walmart, and it repositioned the fuel cell behind the operator. So we had to then, of course, take those power requirements and move them to the front of the vehicle to power the truck, going underneath the operator compartment. So we were able to do that okay, but we took it one step further, and this slide shows that. Most of the products that are out there that use fuel cells, because it's again thought of as a kind of a plug and play. It's not that simple though. To take a battery out and put a fuel cell in, the controls on the fuel cell, including fuel supply, self-diagnostics, things like that, that the operators need to keep in contact with, the on and off switch, because the fuel cell is to date independent, and it has to be started on its own. We incorporated some of those controls into the design of the truck, so you can see where we added an actual hydrogen fuel level indicator, as well as the on-off switch and some self-diagnostic features. So that was our first step into some integration of the truck. We also took another model of truck. This is another Class 2 type truck. This is a man-up, what we call a stock picker, order selector. People call them different things. But then in the upper left-hand corner, you can see how it's used. An operator goes up with a load and picks a case and puts it on and builds a pallet. That's our Model 3500 series. We actually, the fuel cell products, again, available today, did not fit in that style of truck. And we actually redesigned it and made the battery compartment much larger to fit a model of fuel cell. And in this allowed us to take this a little bit further. Because those controls go up with the operator, we actually are using the CAN bus of the truck to use some of the controls of the fuel cell, and we've integrated those into the control panel. The lower left-hand corner shows just what our normal lift truck normal lift truck control panel looks like, but in the standard design, to the left, that series of green bars that you see there would act as the battery discharge indicator. Now that's been it works as the hydrogen indicator. So we've actually made that integration so it tells the level. I was in one of the sessions yesterday for NREL, and they were talking about there needs to be more they need to tell operators more when the hydrogen fuel level is low. I will tell you that most of them have that on there. There are alarms and lights that flash, and they tell them that their fuel level runs low. But I can tell you from first-hand experience, operators don't listen to that. And short of giving them an electric shock to make them go get fuel, which we can't do, so we actually put a device into the truck that cuts out the lift function of the truck. And a lift truck that doesn't lift doesn't work very well for them. So it forces them to go refuel with hydrogen. And we've incorporated that feature into this truck so that, again, making it more seamless for our people that use lift trucks to use their trucks. Some of the things that I've, as a lift truck guy for a long time, have found to be very, very interesting and something that our customers have found very nice, and that is that they're in control of their fuel supply. Scott mentioned earlier that the lift truck operators, he doesn't necessarily want them to run full speed, but there are applications where they're paid on incentive. Their paycheck is determined by how many cases that they pick. So they don't like the fact that a battery browns out, as we call it, And so they're very, very pleased. And what I've seen with operators, the ease of refueling, they're very comfortable with it. So every application that I've seen so far, they've been very happy with it.